At 1:23 a.m. on April 26, 1986, a nuclear reactor exploded in the Soviet Union. There was no warning, no sirens, no mushroom cloud, just a silent release of invisible poison. Radioactive particles began drifting across Europe, contaminating land and lives. This is the story of Chernobyl, a tragedy, a lesson, and a warning for all humanity. In Ukraine, the Chernobyl Nuclear Power Plant stood as a symbol of Soviet ambition, a testament to the era's faith in progress and technology. Its towering reactors and sprawling complex were meant to showcase the power and promise of nuclear energy, not just to the Soviet people but to the world. Next to it, Pripyat thrived, a city built for plant workers, full of youth and optimism. Streets buzzed with laughter, schools echoed with children's voices, and new apartment blocks rose quickly, housing families who believed in a bright, modern future. The RBMK reactors were considered marvels of engineering, so safe they could be built in Red Square, or so it was claimed. Engineers took pride in their work, trusting the technology and the rigorous Soviet standards that guided every decision. The idea of a meltdown was dismissed as Western paranoia, a fantasy born from misunderstanding and fear. Soviet propaganda assured citizens that their reactors were the safest in the world. Life in Pripyat was vibrant. Children played, families planned holidays, and workers prepared for a routine safety test. The city's parks, schools, and amusement rides were alive with hope and the promise of tomorrow. Confidence in the plant's safety was absolute. Both workers and residents trusted the system, believing that nothing could go wrong in their carefully constructed world. No one imagined the system could fail. The possibility of disaster seemed remote, almost unthinkable, as daily life continued undisturbed. But beneath this certainty lay fatal flaws, both in design and in human belief. Overconfidence and overlooked warnings quietly undermined the safety everyone trusted. The stage was set for disaster, as invisible cracks in the system grew wider, waiting for a single moment to change everything. On April 25th, the safety test at Reactor 4 spiraled out of control. Delays left the reactor unstable for hours. Operators under pressure disabled safety systems and withdrew too many control rods. The reactor became dangerously unstable, its true state unknown even to its designers. At 1:23 a.m., the test began. A power surge followed. The emergency shutdown backfired, triggering two massive explosions. The reactor's core was exposed, burning at over 2,000 degrees Celsius. Radioactive material spewed into the night sky. The unthinkable had happened. A nuclear disaster unleashed. The world would never be the same. Chaos gripped the plant after the explosions. In the confusion, alarms blared and red lights flashed, but no one could comprehend the true scale of what had just happened. The air was thick with fear and uncertainty as workers scrambled for answers. Control room staff denied the reactor was destroyed, reporting only a fire. They clung to hope, refusing to believe the worst, even as evidence mounted that something far more catastrophic was unfolding. Firefighters rushed in unaware of the radiation and faced lethal doses as they fought the blaze. They believed they were battling an ordinary fire, not realizing the invisible danger that surrounded them. Many felt a metallic taste and burning skin, signs of acute exposure. Some collapsed within hours, their bodies already succumbing to the effects of radiation poisoning. Plant workers were sent on desperate missions, believing the core was intact. They entered the heart of the disaster, risking everything to contain what they thought was a manageable crisis. They waded through radioactive water, sacrificing themselves in vain. Each step brought them closer to a fate they could not see or understand. No one truly understood the scale of the disaster. The devastation was beyond anything they had ever imagined, leaving everyone in shock and disbelief. The real enemy was invisible, silent, and everywhere. Radiation drifted through the air, settling on every surface, impossible to escape. Every breath, every touch delivered a fatal dose. The danger was relentless, lurking in the very air they breathed and the ground beneath their feet. The first victims were the brave responders, heroes lost to an unseen killer. Their sacrifice would become a symbol of courage in the face of unimaginable peril. Their suffering revealed the true horror of Chernobyl, exposing the world to the deadly consequences of a disaster no one could have predicted or prepared for. As radiation drifted, Pripyat's 50,000 residents slept, unaware. The next morning, life continued as normal. Children played, families went about their day. Authorities downplayed the danger, and the public was told nothing. Only after 36 hours did evacuation begin. Residents were told to leave for 3 days, taking only essentials. Within hours, Pripyat was empty, a ghost city frozen in time. The promised return never came. Families became refugees, their homes lost to the exclusion zone. Pripyat, once a model city, became a monument to disaster. The city built on atomic promise was consumed by atomic tragedy. With the reactor burning uncontrollably, the Soviets faced an unprecedented crisis that threatened not just their nation, but the world. The scale of the disaster was unlike anything ever seen before, and the urgency to act was overwhelming. Helicopters flew dangerous missions, dropping sand, clay, and lead in desperate attempts to smother the raging fire and block the release of radioactive particles into the atmosphere. The liquidators, hundreds of thousands of soldiers, firefighters, and volunteers were mobilized to contain the disaster, each playing a vital role in the massive cleanup effort. Some, known as biorobots, were forced to clear radioactive debris by hand, risking their lives for mere seconds at a time on the reactor's deadly roof, exposed to lethal doses of radiation. Meanwhile, miners toiled underground, digging beneath the reactor to prevent a second, even more catastrophic explosion that could have devastated much of Europe. In a race against time, 3 engineers bravely entered the flooded basement to drain water from beneath the core, averting further catastrophe and saving countless lives. To contain the radioactive remains, a massive concrete sarcophagus was constructed, entombing the reactor in a monumental feat of engineering and desperation. It was only a temporary fix, and the human cost was immense. Exhaustion, injury, and radiation sickness took a terrible toll on those who responded. Thousands suffered and died from radiation exposure, their lives forever changed or cut short by invisible poison. Their sacrifice, courage, and determination prevented an even greater disaster, and their legacy endures as a somber reminder of the cost of containing the uncontainable. The radioactive cloud could not be hidden. Sweden detected the fallout, forcing the Soviets to admit the truth. The plume spread across Europe, contaminating land and food. Chernobyl shattered trust in nuclear safety and the Soviet system. The disaster accelerated the Soviet Union's collapse. Worldwide, nuclear programs were halted or reviewed. Safety standards were overhauled and international oversight increased. The exclusion zone remains, a haunting reminder of the cost of human error. Chernobyl's legacy is a warning etched in history. It changed how the world views nuclear power and secrecy. The lesson: our greatest creations demand our greatest responsibility. Chernobyl was more than an accident. It was a moral and political catastrophe. It exposed the dangers of secrecy, arrogance, and unchecked ambition. The sarcophagus stands as a monument to human failure and sacrifice. The echoes of that night still shape our debates on technology and responsibility. We must remember these stories, honor the victims, and learn from the past. Some disasters must never be forgotten. Subscribe for more stories that remind us why history's lessons matter.